Marvel Rivals has created a problem, and they still don't have an answer for it. And it all comes down to how strategists are designed. Because when you really look at heroes like Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, and Luna Snow, you start to notice a pattern. They're not just different characters, they share the same core design flaws. And those flaws don't just affect how they feel, it affects their value, impact, and how the games play out, especially in rank. So today, we're breaking it all down from their abilities, ultimates, playstyles, and their hidden design issues that connects them all. First, let's go over the original problem child, Luna Snow. The biggest design flaw with this hero is her ultimate, and yes, I know, to be fair, it has been nerfed multiple times, but that's not the real issue. The problem is the design of the ult itself. Marvel Rivals keeps giving strategists these you can't die now ultimates, and it's lazy and not even creative. And what's worse, it creates the same experience across multiple heroes. Luna Snow, Cloak and Dagger, and even Invisible Woman, they all follow the same core principle with slight variations. And this style of ultimates isn't even new. We've seen this look before with Zenyatta from Overwatch, so the idea isn't the problem. The problem is how it plays in this game, because these ultimates don't save fights, they erase interaction. You're not outplaying anything, you're just waiting it out. And for supports, it becomes a crutch. That's why one of the biggest complaints is always the same. They last too long and they're always up when it matters the most. Now, to give credit to the devs, they did nerf ultimates across the board, and that should make neutral play feel more important, more skill-based, and more impactful. But here's the issue that no one talks about. Even with their ults, supports are still strong in the neutral. I want to make something clear. I don't want supports to feel weak and unimportant, but I want them to feel balanced. Supports need to have weakness built into their kit. Because right now, you're getting the best of both worlds. A strong baseline kit and a fight-winning ultimate on top of it. And that's where the real problem starts. While I was making this video, I started seeing support players rallying again, talking about another support strike. And I'm not gonna lie, that's frustrating. I can't get along with that. And guess where this all stemmed from? It was a Twitter tweet like 4 days ago about 3 supports being banned in the comp game, and somehow that turned into the supports are under attack. But let's actually think about this for a second. If 3 poke heroes or 3 dive heroes or 3 tanks get banned in a lobby, does that mean that that playstyle needs to go on strike? No, that just means the lobby is reacting to what's strong or annoying in that moment. So why isn't it any different for supports? At some point, we're gonna have to stop and ask, why are we banning these heroes in the first place? And in my opinion, it's because a lot of support players have gotten way too comfortable one-tricking low risk and high impact characters. And here's where the split begins, because not all supports are the same. You have main supports and off supports, 2 completely different playstyles, 2 completely different mindsets and community. And if we're being honest, one side complains way more than the other. Now don't get it twisted, I don't hate all supports, they're the cornerstone to any good game, you need them. The problem is consistency, because most of the time the role gets value without needing to take real risk. In my mind, a perfect support has a strong kit with high skill expression, and if you heal bot, you get negative value. Your ult just isn't pumping heals to your team, it's something that enables your team during a fight, like Rocket pre-season 2 ult change, Loki, Gambit, White Fox, and sometimes Ultron. Now with that being said, I'll give credit where credit's due, because this new hero White Fox, she's actually balanced in a role that usually isn't, and that's exactly where everything connects, because the whole support strike mindset just doesn't come out of nowhere. It's built on how these heroes are designed. When you give a role consistent low risk value in neutral, then stack a you can't die ultimate on top of that, you're not making them strong, you're shaping how people play this role and view it. You're creating players who rely on safety, who rely on ultimates to win fights, who aren't used to being pressured or punished. So the moment comfort gets challenged through bans, counters, or even losing impact, it feels like the game is the problem. But personally, I think Rivals has coddled support players for too long, and that's why we're seeing this reaction. It's not about supports being weak or targeted, it's the role being built on some of the safest, most forgiving mechanics in the game, finally getting pushed back on. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of people call White Fox weak, and I don't think that's true at all. I think that perception says more about the player base than the actual hero itself, because a lot of Rivals players are used to a very specific type of support, the kind that bails you out. You overextended, you got caught out, and you took bad fights, and your support fixes it, no consequences. That's the expectation now, and White Fox doesn't play that game. She doesn't have the raw healing to save bad position or cover repeated mistakes constantly, so players pick her up and suddenly start losing fights. They assume that she's the problem, but she's not. She exposes y'all's bad habits. She forces you to think about positioning, your timing, and engagement, because if you mess up, you're not getting instantly bailed out, and that's why she's healthy for this game. Her TP is the perfect example. It's strong, but it's not a free escape tool. It requires awareness, coordination, actual decision making. There's a risk, you have to time it perfectly. There's value in that, and that's where she feels different. She sits right in the sweet spot between a main support and an off support. She can enable players, reposition teams, and still provide value without turning fights into a no one dies situation. She's not built on forgiveness, she's built on decision making, and honestly, I think that's where people struggle with her, because she doesn't carry bad players, she demands you to play better. And if we're talking about supports, heroes. In Marvel Rivals, she should be the blueprint. And might I add, her ultimate is actually balanced with clear counterplay, like Spider-Man pulling her off the map or Hulk juggling her. I think her ultimate is one of the best in the game. It supplies healing, CC immunity, while also being balanced. If you guys are enjoying my content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate y'all. Let's aim for 1,200 subscribers by the end of this month. Alright, let's look at Cloak and Dagger, the polar opposite of White Fox, because this is where hero design really starts to fall apart. At its core, this hero is built around one thing, and that's forgiveness. And what I mean by that is this kit constantly bails you out of mistakes instead of rewarding good decisions. Let's start with Dagger. Her most forgiving tool is Dagger Storm. It's the healing bubble, and that ability is a straight up crutch. It gives around 60 burst healing to anyone inside of it, including yourself. So think about what that does in a real match. You take bad positioning, drop the bubble. You get pressure, drop the bubble. You misplay a fight, guess what? Drop the bubble. There is no real punishment, just instant recovery. And when that ability can fix multiple stakes at once, that's not good hero design. That is a safety net for bad players. Now pair that with Cloak, because if healing doesn't save you, he has a Terror Cape. That's basically a get out of jail free card. You're about to die, pop Terror Cape. You get caught out with bad positioning, pop Terror Cape. Now you got a hero that can heal through mistakes and escape them. That's not just strong, that's fundamentally a crutch design. And it doesn't even stop there, because their ultimate has the same problem we talked about earlier. It's a you can't die now ult. It wipes team fights, removes interaction, and resets everything. In a game like this, that creates a chain reaction. Now you have heroes like Loki cloning his ult, stacking the same effect again, and now you have fights that aren't being played but paused over and over and over again. It turns into a constant cycle of no one dies, and players are getting tired of it. And that frustration is exactly why some of your favorite heroes are getting banned. Not because they're impossible to beat, because people just don't want to deal with that experience anymore. Alright you guys, pause. White Fox just got buffed, and I'm gonna be honest, I have to walk back some of the praise I just gave her, because now she's overtuned. As of March 25th, I'll tell you guys what they changed. She now gets full Spirit Tail energy on respawn or after her ult. That's instant value with no build up. Like, you don't have to do damage or heal, now you just get an instant uptime. Her Spectral Surge now heals on cast, so she's even harder to punish. Her shield just got reworked to do less burst, but now it gives constant healing over time to everyone inside of it, including herself. She's gonna have crazy uptime. And guess what? Her ultimate also got to change. She no longer sacrifices health to use her ability, so that means way less risk because they just put it on a 2-second cooldown. So what does this actually mean? This means they took the hero that was built upon decision making and not forgiveness and added that same thing to her kit. So now she sustains herself. She has passive healing. She literally does everything. I'm so tired of Marvel Rivals just gutting supports and just making them these crazy heal bots. It's not good for the game. She has less risk, more uptime, free value. This is the exact problem that I was talking about. Marvel Rivals can't. They physically can't do anything to make supports like balanced. I just can't stand this. Now let's move on to Invisible Woman, because her problem isn't as obvious but just as impactful. She's not built around burst saves like Luna, and she's not built around constant bailout tools like Cloak and Dagger. She's built around control and safety, and on paper that sounds fine, but in practice it turns fights into something less interactive, because Invisible Woman just doesn't keep people alive, she controls whether you can even fight back. You've got invisibility, jump repositioning, shield tools that let her team avoid pressure instead of dealing with it straight on, and crazy 1v1 potential for a support. So instead of rewarding better mechanics or smarter plays, the kit leans into denying interaction altogether, and that's where frustration starts to build, especially for dive players, because now it's not I couldn't secure a kill, it's I never even had a chance to, and that feeling matters, because over time that kind of design changes how players approach the game. They stop taking aggressive fights, they hesitate more, because they know if they 1v1 that invis, they might lose. And sure, you can argue that's a skill issue, but come on, that kit is stacked, especially like what, a season ago, pre-buffs. It's still very good now. So now you're playing a slower, more optimal, because that's what you're forced to play when you go against Invis. So that's why she gets banned. Low risk, high impact with a kit that allows her to basically never commit. But like we've talked about before, you don't need to play her perfectly to get value. The kit does a lot of the work for you, and when it happens constantly across roles, well, heroes, it lowers the skill shielding and slows the game down and creates the same frustration that we've been talking about this whole time. Different hero, but same philosophy, and that's why y'all are getting banned, let's be honest. And when y'all, especially for triple support, that just only doubles down, because if you're playing triple support and you're playing against those three and now fourth hero, and you don't even want to mention Gambit or Loki, because oh my goodness, that is a whole monstrosity. The players just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. Nobody wants to deal with it. So guess what's gonna happen? You might even see 6 supports getting banned. So if they don't like address supports like from a baseline, I don't even know what Marvel Rivals is doing wrong, because Overwatch doesn't have this problem. I hate to compare the two games, but like Jetpack Cat gets banned, sure, but that's because they're just annoying to play. basically almost everybody in support role is annoying to play. I personally, I love playing off supports like Ultron, Adam Warlock. I don't touch Gambit, but now White Fox, and White Fox gets a ban which basically just turns her to everyone else, so she's gonna get banned like everyone else. I'm just going on a big tangent because it just frustrates me that this game just doesn't know what to do with supports. If you make them too OP, people are gonna play. If you make them too weak, people are gonna play. If you make DPS too strong, and it's gonna hurt supports. Like there's like the pendulum of balance between supports and DPS and tanks is so complex that I wish that Marvel Rivals had like a concrete way to deal with it. So that's why I'm asking you guys. Can you guys tell me like what would y'all do? You know, I'm sorry for this long yap session, but it's something I'm really passionate about. So if you guys want to hear more of my opinions, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Peace out.